everyone to Charmed Life. My name is Tricia Carr. I am your host. Now, if I sound or look different to you in this episode, that is because I am doing a home studio episode today. I do have my studio that I always work from, that I usually work from, and it is exempt from the shelter at home, shelter in place order that we have in California and that most of us have during the quarantine 2020. However, I am just trying to do as much work as I can from home with my little makeshift setup that I brought here. I brought a nice microphone, a decent mic pre, an okay light. I didn't bring a camera. It's just the one on my computer. I'm just trying to get by so that I don't have to leave the house at all as much as possible, which as we all are doing. So every now and again, I'm going to be here until we get through this together. But you may see me at my studio some too, because I go and try to just hunker down in there one day per week or less even and get some work done. So maybe I'll see you there soon. But this is my home. This is the studio that I have at home. I have birds over here. I have a cat over here. I have a husband back there. So whatever noises you hear, I hope you'll just excuse them. But you know what? If the talk show hosts on network channels, which have so much money, if they're having to do it, I guess, then, I can be okay with it too. And I hope you are as well. Having said that, this episode is here to serve you, I endeavor. I actually I was riding my bike because that's the exercise I can get right now besides working out inside the house. I can't go to the trails. We can't go be out in nature since they're closed. And I was just communing and I was asking, what could we use right now? And well, I heard that we need some upliftment. I heard we actually could kind of use almost like distraction, but distraction in a way that we actually are doing something for our soul still. So if we could kind of change channels from whatever is going on with our collective health landscape and our collective financial landscape and some of that really dense stuff that's going on. And if we could shift gears a little bit and, just imbue ourselves with some spiritual education and inspiration. And like I say, a distraction, but a conscious one that actually does us good. Not in the sense of trying to run away from something. And that's actually just realizing the message that they gave is really in alignment with that in its core. What we're going to talk about in this episode is parallel realities and how you call them into your physical reality. And the council that brought this message, that is bringing this message, is headed up by Lyran beings. Those are beings in the high frequency star system that is Lyra, Lyra, and these were the first star beings that I ever connected with, and I connected with them in a spontaneous way by synchronicity showing up. And at that time, I hadn't really heard anyone. I wasn't in kind of rich spiritual community or listening to podcasts. I was listening to some YouTube channels and just hadn't made my way over to the starseed kind of discussion, And what I mean by that, I'll just digress a little bit in case this is new to you, and this is you on your path saying like, what is this starseed thing, or what is it? Can we actually communicate with what some would say aliens or extraterrestrials or cosmic beings that are in other galaxies and maybe even other universes? And well, that's what that is all about. And when the word starseed is referring to the experience of connecting with these other star beings, I like to use that word a lot, or beings in other frequencies of the universe and in other galaxies even. And you hear my birds talking. They were napping until I started talking. Now they're like, what are we doing? What are we talking to? Who? What? That's what we get in a home studio. Anyway, so the starseed communication or the starseed discussion, you'll hear people talking about being from these different star systems, that they are from Arcturus, and that their soul originated there. And you'll even hear people say, "This is my first time here on Earth as a human, because I come from, the Pleiades," and people are channeling all these different beings, and that is definitely an experience that people have. And to just broaden it, to expand it even more, is to recognize, and it's kind of important for this particular subject today, is to recognize the fluidity of the soul's expression, and to release ourselves from the linear idea that there is an incarnation and then there's another incarnation, then there's another incarnation in some kind of line. Pardon me as I bang the table. If that's for those who are watching the video. That to free ourselves of the linear concept of time. Now, we do experience it linearly as Earth humans, because we begin with birth and we end with death, and we have the days between that seem to be experienced one after the other, or the moments between, and they seem to make a line for us. And we're going to take the wheels off of that wagon today. Now, experience it as a line is helpful to us here. And so what we're doing is we're expanding our perspective to include it, rather than a line and rather than even a plane, make it even more spherical, and maybe even blow the wheels off of that geometry and see it as an absolute sea of all parallel realities happening at once. All realities happening at once. The only reason they're called parallel is because this is the one where my point of focus is. That's the one that is the pinpointed reality. And then the next reality that is about to happen was previously parallel in that perspective of the time crystal of the universe. All right. So when the reason I say that, to loosen ourselves from that, is that given that means that anytime we are making connections with a concept or even with other beings, we are sharing soul essence, and we are co-creating soul essence. And so we actually, anytime we're connecting with Lyrans or we're connecting with Arcturans, then we have the feeling or the experience that we are from there, because in that moment we have created that from their-ness, and it is eternal, and we might be going there next. And after this perspective shift, and we shift into that one, in that future reality, that future incarnation or expression of the soul, is just a parallel reality that we can experience right now. So actually, I talk about past life regression. I say parallel life regression, or I say parallel life reviewing. That's what I call it, because that's actually what it is. If we are able to free ourselves and look at it as a fluid experience of time, of the one moment with different perspectives all over the place. The one crystal of time is just a way to think of it, a fluid crystal. With that, a little bit of a groundwork laying for you. That's where we're working right now. And this Council of Light, that is the name I'm just calling it right now, is Lyran Council of Light. And it is headed up by Lyran or Lyrans, a few beings who are vibrating to that frequency. But there are other beings of light, and these are very high frequencies. So we are tethered to them. We are co-creating with them. And so you might say it is higher essences of ourselves. All of those who would come here today and find resonance with it. And if you don't find resonance with it, that's cool too. That just could mean that this isn't for you. And that's what this life is about selecting and choosing and finding what it is that you do resonate with, because that resonant feeling is the creation experience. With that, I'm going to see if they can bring through a bit of a channel here. And I believe I'm going to go into channel and bring through a message which will serve as an attunement to open us up. And then I will come, I believe, again, we'll see what happens. I believe I'm going to come out of channel and then give you a few points about this parallel reality shifting, to be able to bring parallel realities into this point of perspective. And I think I'll be doing that cognitively or consciously, or maybe in sort of in that in-between space of channel and listening like a medium, and then speaking like this, okay? So I may edit this out if it takes a boring amount of time for me to actually welcome in the light for this channel, or I may just leave it in if it's only a short amount of time. But just don't be jarred if you hear a shift in the audio or a shift in the video. Hey guys, just before this message starts, I just want to mention that the last couple of minutes of the video on the channel stopped. But the audio is still going there. So I just put a little placeholder of an image there in the meantime, and I had it going on a secondary recording of audio. So I hope you enjoy it anyway. And then after just a couple of minutes, then I come back with a full video too. And the channel is open, and we come to you with joy, with glee, with love, with acceptance. And we vibrate these frequencies directly to you, asking you to hold this welcome in your heart. Acceptance is what we would like to communicate to you today, deep into your essence, deep into your being. As you experience yourselves as mind, body, and spirit, as triune beings, we ask you to welcome deeply in this moment, with your permission, with your affirmation, to welcome in this frequency of acceptance. And we say, accept yourself and accept the world around you. Accept the possibilities that lay before you. This is a very important message for everyone now, for there are many beings of the planet Earth, many of the humans who are finding one another in resistance to themselves, resistance to their beings, resistance to their bodies, and resistance to their thought experiences. We say that the way out is through, and so we are going to teach you today a very important lesson about the magic, that which humans think are hidden from them, but in truth, it is only deep within you. It is actually subtly and profoundly exactly what you are. It isn't something that is hidden from you like the esoteric knowledge, like that of your olden times where something was hidden behind a shroud in a dusty book or scroll that was disallowed to the public or disallowed to those which were considered to be lower on the hierarchy, lower on the caste system. We say to you humans that there is no caste system in your reality any longer. It is all illusion. There is no physical caste system. There is no physical hierarchy. All humans stand shoulder to shoulder. All humans are there to love one another. And if you put your head down, when one puts their head down and attempts to ignore their brother or their sister, this is only creating pain. And yet we know that those who are joined to this message, those who are finding resonance in it, are finding validation, and they are finding the hope of this message. For they know that the truth is that there is no separation in the energy. They know that the truth is that positive, that love, that which you experience as the pleasant feeling of love and care, that is what actually draws you together and reminds you that you are one with another, even as you experience your bodies separate. When you dissolve that illusion, when you dissolve, allowing the veil to be dissolved, you see that there is no separation from you, for that which is the water, that which is the air, that which is the earth and the fire that create your physical bodies is connected and being streamed to every single one who is standing next to you and standing on the opposite side of your planet. There is no possible way for you to be separated. And so allow us to point you to the electricity that you vibrate inside your being. This electricity is broadcast out from the subatomic particles, from the electrons, from that which is beyond the channel's comprehension to be able to explain in language. And so we use just these sign points from her very mind to be able to reflect these points to you, reflect these subjects to you in a way that you may be able to feel in your vibration. For this is the place that we want you to experience it, in your heart. For you who are here, do feel your hearts so profoundly. And as you feel your hearts so profoundly, you draw to you the hearts of your brothers and sisters. And these would be the humans, and these would be the animals, the trees, the plants, and all of the even smaller inner planes of your existence, as well as those higher and outer planes of your existence. All is one. All is one. And so, let us explain to you how you create your reality by drawing in parallel realities and becoming one with it. First, we ask you to become loose with your perception of things being solid. We ask you at this time to consider everything. Everything is a holograph. Everything is a hologram. Everything is a liquid crystal of one density or another, flowing in different frequency rates. Some vibrate slower and some vibrate quicker. And that is it. Your science proves to you that most of what is considered solid is mostly not solid, is mostly empty space. Likewise, most of which you consider to be your language is mostly your subtle vibratory frequencies. Do you know that most of your language, most of your communication is done without the physical instrument? 97% of your communication is done without your physical instrument. And so we ask you to just drift along, float along in this awareness of the hologram. See how everything is open. See how everything is malleable. See how everything is fluid and changeable, and nothing is a solid state in truth, in depth. And with this, we turn it over to the lesson to be explained by the channel. Okay, so I'm coming back having realized that the video actually stopped, but I'm, as I probably already recorded in the beginning, I told you guys I'm going to go ahead and leave it in there because on the audio portion of it, but I'm back on video now. So here we go. Let's talk about this principle of parallel realities and how we actually bring them in to our experience as this reality, as the reality that is the forefront, the one that is the point of perspective now. And also they wanted me to say and just describe a little bit more, because actually I don't remember what I described at the beginning about the Council of Light, that there are beings. Actually, there are three that I'm seeing. It's two principles and one who is supporting, who are the Lyran star beings. But there are many other beings that are holding space and being a part of this council that are contributing to this message today, in case you guys are interested. That's what I guess that maybe some of you are, and that's why it wanted to become clear here. Okay, so let's talk about this in a little bit in a practical sense about parallel realities. You see, how we actually create our reality, given that everything already exists, is that we select from the parallel realities. The way that we do that is actually by magnetizing it to us. And so this magnetizing experience is actually what the law of attraction is. The law of attraction tells us about, aligning with it in our beliefs, kind of, is what sometimes you might hear it stated as, but basically feeling it toward you, feeling it as though it is. And so hopefully this will actually give you a little clarity on it. For me, it gave me a little clarity when they were talking to me about it earlier. So that's just to know that what the law of attraction like actually is feeling toward you, magnetizing to you, and blending with, as you see that everything is a hologram, just blending these colors together, if you will, if that helps you to get a better sense of the hologram experience, blending those together so it becomes one reality. And essentially what you're doing with, they were talking, I remember them talking something about, they were trying to put some information through me, and I'm like, I ain't got the language, y'all. They knew I didn't, so it's not like it was a mistake. But what I understand is basically all of the electrons that we have in our being, and I'm not a scientist, so it might be more than just the electrons, but they kind of, every single electron serves as its own radio tower. It is a broadcasting mechanism even. And what the electrons do is they magnetize, they call toward or create a frequency with neutrinos, which are subatomic particles. And I think there are three different kinds of subatomic particles. Neutrinos are one kind. And these are actually what are creating the reality. And so how we charge up that rate, all of those billions, I don't know, trillions of radio towers, is with our state. The state that we're holding. And the state is the vibration. And the way we can create a state is by feeling a state. And so the feeling nature is magnetic. It is literally a magnet. So if you can imagine two holograms. Think of this as a see-through, a transparent little object. Let's just, if you want to think of it as a person, it's you, okay? Here in my hand here, right here between my fingers, those of you who are listening, I'm just holding my fingers up as if I'm holding like a 3-inch doll. So imagine I have a 3-inch doll, but it's an animated being, but it is a hologram. So you can see through it. It has form, but you can see through it. It's kind of like the Princess Leia hologram who comes up and says, Luke, we need you, or something like that. I don't remember exactly what the line is. Pardon me, Star Wars guys. Anyway, so I have a version of you here, a hologram right now, and then in my other hand, another version of you, a parallel reality hologram of you. Now, if you want to fill this in with your imagination, that it is colorful. You can make yourself different colors like pastels and stuff like that if you want, but just you can see through it. That's going to help you to get an idea of it being impermanent and not fixed, okay? So what happens is this one version of you that is in my left hand is charging up those signals, those feelings, those electrons are sending out a signal, and those signals, that signal is a magnetic signal. So it's going to call to it the frequencies that are alike it, and that would be this one in my right hand. And as these two see through, these transparent holograms begin to come to one another, they then begin to merge and they become one. And this is basically how we create our reality all the time, because it is already in existence. And so we feel the reality to us. Now, I actually have an easy technique to try to make this work all the time. So here's the thing, when something that is unfavorable that happens to us, is happening for us, or let's just say we have the lack of a parallel reality that we want to experience, then we actually use the what is as the clue for how we feel what might sometimes seem like it's opposite or might seem like it's answer. Okay, so let me give you an example. And I know this can in some ways be basic stuff. I'm just saying it in a different way. From a different kind of angle that could maybe make it sink in a different way. If you can try to relax and even forget about all of the other things that we've heard about it and let this technique be simple, then maybe it can work, it can start to work for you in really evidential ways. Okay, so let's say you've gotten laid off from work. And so this may be seeming unfavorable to you, but perhaps the job wasn't perfect for you anyway. Perhaps there was something else that was better for you. And perhaps it didn't make you all the money of your wildest dreams and give you all of the creativity and everything that you want in your wildest dreams, okay? Let's just give that kind of what if scenario, because what we're actually doing, the technique we're going to start with is the what if. Maybe if we want to throw a second scenario in there, the second one would be that you lost your romantic relationship, okay? So the what if scenario, the what if reframe is what we're going to use. So we take the scenario of having lost the job and we look at it and we take it for what it is, and we allow it to help us to feel that which it is the puzzle piece too. So what if, first of all, you might say, what if losing this job is exactly the right thing for me? What if rather than I don't have a job, rather I have a void that is a fertile void that is exactly right for me? And then let that be. You're actually going through the what is to be able to bring to you the next what is. So it isn't a spiritual bypassing. It isn't putting your head in the sand and saying, oh, tra-la-la, I don't need things, I don't want things. Or, it's not an escapist experience at all. As a matter of fact, you're going into it. You're not escaping it. You're going deep into it in order to be able to observe and then vibrate to you that which it is showing you, because that's what it's doing. The what is showing you what you are calling into the reality. So the what if reframe. Try to take whatever it is. What if losing this relationship? What if I am, no longer having this relationship is exactly right for me, because it gives me the opportunity to see what it is that I am attracting. I want to even stay away from the word attracting. What it is that I am magnetizing to me by feeling the what if. The reason we use the what if is because it's an easy way when we are experiencing something as lack or loss. It's an easy way to just gently give ourselves the opportunity. And it's a way to work with our whole being, because you see, we can't trick our mind into something being a reality when it's not the reality, the physical reality. That's how we get a little tripped up with law of attraction sometimes, I think. Not that law of attraction is wrong. I just mean that's how people get tripped up with it, because we think we have to believe that it is a reality in order for us to completely vibrate it to us. But that's hard, because I have a mansion. When I don't have a mansion, it's like I'm not an idiot. So it's not about belief. This is one thing they wanted us to understand, is that it's not about belief. That when we get a little concerned or worried that our beliefs have to be one way or another, then we get caught up in our mind and we actually start to loop in thoughts. And the thoughts aren't there to make sure that we believe in them. The thoughts are there as tools to support our vibration. So then we can consciously think the thoughts that are pleasant, that support the vibration. And when we charge it up with that feeling nature, feeling is the vibration, feeling is a magnetic energy. We are an electromagnetic field. Feeling is the magnetic energy, and that is what creates a state, which then creates the merging of the holograms of parallel realities. The parallel reality you're in and the parallel reality you are about to merge with. And so, like I said, this is not spiritual bypassing, to take the what is and then to see how it is showing us what we are calling into, not what we are feeling into ourselves. What you're actually doing is completely using the resource of the what is, even if it's the lack of something. You're using it completely as fertilization. You're using it as a way to mirror to you. You turn it into a mirror rather than turning it into a prison. You turn it into a mirror for that which is what you will be feeling toward you, the parallel reality that you prefer. Now, I have a very important caveat for you guys, and that is that when you are feeling grief, profound grief, when you have a really severe loss, for example, then this isn't, you aren't meant to skip past those difficult feelings, the feelings of grief, and just go right to, yippee, I feel great that I lost someone that I love, in the profound way. You need to actually take your time with that. But what it can do, the what if reframe can do, even in the depths of your grief, is give you hope. And it can be, if you can, in the depths of your grief, say, what if something good is coming from this? What if I am learning something? What if I'm actually figuring out and about to live my love with that person, let's say. I'm actually moving into a greater experience of our love. What if that's the case? Maybe you can get there, maybe not, and that's okay. But if you can let that what if just be a hope, and it's almost like someone is holding your hand while you're in pain. It doesn't take away the pain, and it's not meant to take away the pain, but it gives you support. So the what if reframe, when you're in grief, needs to be used very gently, and it's there to maybe be a glimmer of hope. But in so much as you may be feeling even more challenged because you're feeling too fast to the, I'm happy that I have this loss, that's not what's intended here. It's actually, you want to take your time with that, and it will take longer to utilize the resource of that what is, because it is a bit more profound, it's a bit more dense than something like, losing or being in the desire state for having a better job, or something else that is a little more day to day, even if it might be a little more, is less existential than those profound losses. So please know that. And if you've been wondering that, I hope that helped to give you some comfort at this time. All right. So again, it isn't about beliefs, though. This is where we get a little tripped up if we're trying to follow law of attraction protocol, because beliefs are mind concepts, and the mind is a secondary player in this. The mind and the thoughts are tools when it comes to creating or bringing in parallel realities. If we want to use the magnetic experience, the feeling nature in order to create the state. So it isn't about believing that you have it. It's about having the state of having it, which is something you're 100% with your free will and all of your sovereignty in charge of. Haven't you watched a movie and cried because you felt the passion and you felt the exhilaration, or you felt the sadness, whatever it is? That was a state you chose to have, and you chose it and you brought it in with your feelingness. So charge it up feelingly. Now, for some of us, we experience our emotions actually in our mind, or in our head, kind of. It seems like I know my emotions. Well, that's actually still beneficial. You can know what you feel, and you can charge yourself up that way. You can choose what to feel in your state, what to feel as a state that you will be drawing to you. That's still different than just utilizing these thoughts, these beliefs. You can be aware of the feeling state that you are choosing, because choice is different than decision making. Decision making, and it's a bit of semantics, just a bit of vocabulary. Decision making is a tool. Decision making is something that is done from the evidence that's already there. But choice is something that takes the whole being. Choice is something that is a full alignment. So you can choose how you're going to feel to draw a state into, and thereby magnetize to you the parallel reality that you are meshing with. And by the way, Bashar, who is an extraterrestrial being, an Esasani, he's channeled by a man named Daryl Anka, who has been on my program before, says that billions of times per second, we are selecting parallel realities in order to create what we perceive as this reality. And so just to put that bee in your bonnet there, that's what we're talking about here. Okay, let me see. I'm looking at my notes from earlier. Don't worry about beliefs, because that makes you get caught up in your thoughts and get tangled in them, even almost like a web. The thoughts are meant to be there as tools to help you. They are the support to you creating the state by your feeling the state to you. They are there to support your vibration. They are there to support you creating the feelings and making the choices of the feelings. Vibration, which is your feeling state, is the magnet that fuses this reality with the parallel realities. Okay. That's about what I have for you on this subject. I hope that was helpful to you. And the Lyran channel at the beginning, Lyran Council of Light channel at the beginning, is a bit of attunement to get you primed for it. And I wanted to tell you about a couple of things I have coming up. I am creating a class, or it's a program. It's a moderate-sized program. It's called Self-Hypnosis for Health and Happiness. And I'm going to be teaching how to use hypnotic techniques for yourself, not for others, because that's a whole big deal. I'm a hypnotherapist, you may or may not know, as well as an intuitive medium channel, obviously I channeled in this episode, and an animal communicator and a telepath. And so I'm going to be teaching you how to use hypnotic techniques in order to basically channel your parallel realities as it concerns health and happiness. And the difference between hypnosis and meditation is, what they have in common, I should say first, is that they utilize the state and they utilize the access to the subconscious mind. With hypnosis, we're actually being more directed and pointed to kind of change the subconscious mind, or utilize the subconscious mind to change the whole being. And so we actually use some specific techniques, and we're going to kind of really dig deep into what you are as a mind, body, spirit complex, how that works, and how you can be consciously utilizing hypnotic modalities for yourself to create these the vital health and vibrant happiness. So the way this is going to happen is I'm creating it, and then I'm going to be putting it up as an on-demand class. But I'm actually offering people to come to the live recording of it and to have a Q&A at the end. And I'll be actually using the answers that I give to the question and answers as addendums to the classes. I'm not going to use the identities of the students or the people who ask. I'm just going to use my answers to them. And so you can wait for the on-demand to come out, or you can join either in a drop-in there's going to be 6 events, by the way, 6 events of 1-hour classes with about a half hour of Q&A afterward. And you can go down into the description here, however, you're watching or listening, and you can find a way to actually buy seats to go and just drop in on one of these 6 events or all of the 6 events. However, I actually recommend that you go ahead and join my Mystic Arts Academy, because they're going to have access to it. And if you wanted to get involved in the Mystic Arts Academy, where we have classes twice per month, this is in addition to the 2 times per month classes, and about weekly hypno journeys, live hypno journeys and meditations, then that would be the way to go. And because it's a much better, it's a much more affordable and a much more robust offering. But you can just drop in on one of these classes if you like, and it will be a lot of fun. So the Mystic Arts Academy students will have access to these. If you want to drop in, there will be replay available for 2 weeks. And for the Mystic Arts students, they're going to have the replay of these classes available for a month. And let's see, other than that, I wanted to say that, so yeah, like again, go down to the description if you want to check that out. And it's just a one-off event, and then the on-demand will be available later. Okay, I guess that's it. I feel like there was something more, but I'm not hearing that there's anything more, except that I so appreciate you guys for connecting with this podcast, and thank you for letting me be a little bit off my normal production and being here with me anyway. I would love it if you like, subscribe, share, comment, and shine your light. That's what's most important to me. And I'll be having some really exciting guests coming up really soon. So with that, I will say, thanks for tuning in. I love you, whoever you are.